Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. This phrase, repeated 3 times by legendary sportscaster Howard Cosell on a cold January night in 1973, became instantly iconic as George Foreman defeated Joe Frazier in the first round of the heavyweight boxing championship. This phrase echoed across America. Howard Cosell not only captured the surreal gravity of this moment, he also cemented it in American history. This is the power that broadcasting can hold. Using only his eyes and his voice, Cosell ensured that this moment could echo through the vaults of history forever. The absurd job Howard Cosell held, that of a sports commentator, is fascinating. And an exploration through the immense influence sports broadcasting holds within American pop culture is tremendously rewarding. What is sports broadcasting? The job of a sports broadcaster is to simply broadcast sports. This job is done in many different ways. Research and production jobs are held within sports broadcasting. Some people choose to specialize in one sport, while others choose to cover multiple. But the most recognizable job within broadcasting is that of the commentator. The commentator is the voice in the booth, analyzing and commenting on the sport as it happens. As long as radio and television have been around, sports commentators such as Howard Cosell have been there to help bring sports out of the backyard and into American households. Sports broadcasting have to free sports from its local confinements and onto the national stage. Such was the case in 1936 and 38 when African-American boxer Joe Louis faced off against Nazi-endorsed German boxer Max Schmeling. An estimated 100 million people tuned into the radio to listen to both of the Louis-Schmeling fights, of which each fighter won one and lost one, bringing great pride to his country with victory and shame with loss. This level of national pride brought on by these fights, for better or for worse, was made possible by the broadcasting of these two historical sporting events. However, sports broadcasting's place in history doesn't always have to be intertwined with such intense moments of national pride like that of the Louis-Schmeling fights. Memorable moments, historical calls, and hysterical gaffes have held equal relevance to American culture. And as the medium in which we consume sports has continually evolved, broadcasting has adapted with it. From Joe Buck to Joe Rogan, the wide array of modern-day sports commentators helped to produce a vast collection of memorable quotes and memeable moments. To once again quote Howard Cosell, sports is human life in microcosm. Sports very much mirrors the human struggle on a much smaller level, and it is the sports commentators who serve to pilot this journey into our own reflection. Over a quarter of the U.S. population watches sports. Millions of Americans tune in to watch their sport team and subsequently listen to commentators. The responsibility these people hold not only to the sport they cover, but to the millions who listen to them is absurd. For a profession within a niche market that holds no tangible real-world implications to carry such influence over American culture is completely unique to the career of sports broadcasting. There would be no way to broadcast these sports if there were no radio or television, and there would be nothing to talk about for sports commentators if there were no sports. That being said, sports broadcasting is more than just a product of the two institutions. It is not just a piece within these Goliath mediums of entertainment. Sports broadcasting is integral in bringing together both and elevating them. This is the absurdity of the profession, the power and influence held by the sports broadcaster through the simple means of watching the same thing we are watching and commenting on it. Sports is an escape from reality, and the job description of a sports broadcaster is to help us escape.